Hey guys, uh, so I have been having an issue with this rifle. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this rifle, you haven't been around this video very long, or around this channel rather, very long to know what this rifle is. This is a BCM upper on a PSA lower, and this is my wife's go-to rifle. And we've had this rifle for 10 years now, and it hasn't had a ton of rounds through it. If I don't even think it's got 1,000 rounds on it. Having a family and kids, it's hard to get out to the range with both my wife and myself. So not a ton of rounds have been down this. She's taken it to class with me. We do some fun shooting, so on and so forth. But as of recent, I've noticed that this does not shoot very good. Outside of the initial zeroing process, we've never really tested it for groups. And I noticed in a range trip a couple months ago when back in, I want to say it was like beginning of August, right? Beginning of August, we took a ride out to, oh no, it wasn't even August. It was going back to June. And we took a ride out to Tommy Gunn's warehouse out in Greeley, Pennsylvania. I believe the people that own that own Car Arms. It's literally on Car Arms Drive or something like that. Either way, their warehouse on that property, they have a 600-yard range with steel targets. Now, I have shot at this range many times, and every rifle that I brought with me, I've been able to consistently make hits out to 400 depending on the optic. If I'm just running a red dot, maybe a red dot and a 3x magnifier, 500 yards. If I have an LPVO, 600 yards I can hit all day. Now, took this one out, and in the process of trying to test this optic, which I've had for 6-7 months now, and I haven't been able to actually test it, do a review on it because I keep having to move it. I wanted to keep it on this guy and do a review, and it's just been one issue after another in terms of the rifle. Now, here is where I started to notice things were, there was an issue. 200 yards, easy, no problem, right? I can hit 10-inch plates. 300 yards, reduced IPSC size target, I would hit maybe 80% of the time. Unlike me, where I can take something like my LWRC or any one of my 12.5s or, my 18-inch, whatever, I can hit 6-inch steel plates all day long out to that distance and wouldn't even have to worry about having any inconsistency issues. Now, in this case, about 80% hit probability on reduced IPSC size targets out to 300. And then at 400, I must have put 20 to 25 rounds down range, and I think I got 2 impacts on a full IPSC size steel target at 400 yards. I didn't even try pushing beyond that because it definitely wasn't, something wasn't right. I get home, I start checking everything out. I give a cursory cleaning of the barrel, I check everything out, and I find something that was very concerning to me and something that I know will absolutely affect accuracy. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what I found. So, start recording, and then I can show you. So we're going to go in through the muzzle end. I'm going to show you. So here is, let's see if this is going to show up. It might not show up. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but there's pitting and stuff on the crown, which is something I found after talking to BCM and going through what they wanted to go through. Now, I wanted to read the emails to you, but I lost some of the emails, so I cannot read them word for word. But basically, after conversing with them, they asked me to clean it to where there was no carbon or copper fouling and then shoot some groups, which is exactly what I did. And I documented everything and communicated that with them. So, going further in, see, there is my gas port. So you see there's not a whole lot of erosion on the gas port, so I don't see that. You can typically tell by gas port erosion about how many rounds, or a rough estimate of the rounds, and like how you shoot that. But moving further on back, now I didn't clean it after my last iteration of shooting because that was the accuracy testing with a bunch of ammo, but this was what I found. Now look at that. There goes one land, two lands. Oh, third land starting to disappear. There goes a fourth land, fifth land. Oh, snap. There goes the other ones. They're starting to peak and then come back down. So as you can see, the lands and grooves are not cut concentrically to the bore the way it's supposed to. And what that is going to do is apply uneven pressure to the projectile as it enters the bore, which then imparts more deformation to the bullet, creating flight path issues as it leaves the barrel. Once that wind resistance hits it, it's going to start to deviate in one direction or another depending on where the excess deformation on the bullet. So when it's going down the bore, that rifling is imparting on the bullet. If your bullet's entering the bore on an angle, you're going to get more deformation on one side of the bullet versus the other, or uneven deformation around the bullet, and that's going to cause flight path issues, and that's where you get erratic accuracy dispersions, so to speak. So after cleaning everything thoroughly, I sent emails of everything again, because I sent my original emails with pictures of what I found, and then after the thorough cleaning, I went and shot the groups, and I sent them the pictures of after it was cleaned thoroughly, confirming there was zero carbon or copper fouling, and then I shot the groups. So I shot all of the groups on a bench at 100 yards from using a Caldwell tack driver front bag and a sand sock, basically a sock filled with airsoft BBs for my rear bag. And I gave it about a minute or so between each iteration to cool down. I think it was a little bit more than, it was probably closer to 5 minutes between each iteration. So I would do 5-shot strings. So this is what I got for my first set. So hopefully this is coming through okay. But I shot Winchester USA Valor 55 grain 193s, M193s, PMC X-Tac 55 grain M193s, PMC X-Tac 62 grain M855, and Hornady Black 62 grain FMJs. Now I switched up the Winchester USA because I forgot I took this optic off, put it on another rifle, and then when I put it back I never re-zeroed it. So I had to adjust. When I shot the first group, never made it on paper. When I shot the PMC X-Tac, it was low about 3 inches and about 8 inches to the left, so I just mixed these up. So for the Winchester USA Valor 55 grain M193, after a full deep cleaning and no carbon ring, no carbon deposits, no copper buildup, nothing, shot 2.219 inches, which for 55 grain, it's acceptable, but I've shot this out of other rifles and gotten like 1.2 to 1.5 inches with this ammo. PMC X-Tac, I typically get under 2 inches. That shot 2.667 inches. For the PMC X-Tac 62 grain, that shot under 4 inches. It was 3.774 inches. And then for the Hornady Black, which I've actually had really good luck with, sub 2 inches. It's not a precision load, but sub 2 inches. That one gave me 2.709 inches at 100 yards. So basically over 2.5 MOA, just over 2.25, or just at 2.25 MOA, just over 2.5 MOA, and then here is 3.25 MOA, or 3.75 MOA. That was for just the standard M855 193, and then a non-penetrator tip 62 grain load. Then I went to the precision loads. So the first one I shot was Federal Gold Medal Match 69 grain Sierra Match Kings. That gave me 2.013 inches. I usually get like 1.2 inches or sub 1 inch with those loads out of a wide variety of barrels. AAC 77 grain OTMs, those I use those on my 12.5. I'll get 1 inch, 1 to 1.2 inches all day long with that. That gave me 2.28 inches at 100 yards, 77 grain OTMs. Move over to this one here, which is the Federal Gold Medal 77 grain Sierra Match Kings. That was the best group at 1.496. Now, depending on the barrel, I'll get around 1.2, and then sometimes I'll get as low as 3/4 MOA with that ammo. But for that being pretty much a gold standard ammunition for accuracy out of the AR platform, 1.496 is unacceptable for me. And I know every one of these trigger pulls were good. And then lastly, the PMC X-Tac 77 grain OTM. These things shoot sub MOA. Out of every gun that I fired these out, I get sub MOA accuracy out of this. Like, it's phenomenal how good this PMC X-Tac 77 grain OTMs shoot. That gave me 2.127 inches. So 1 out of 8 groups actually gave me sub 2 inch groups. That's not good. There is a problem. So, and just for full transparency, this lower has a, what the hell is it? ALG and Enhanced Combat Trigger, or the Advanced Combat Trigger, the ACT. I did not use this lower. When I shot the groups, I took the lower off. I took my LWRC lower and put it on there because that has a Geisley SSAE trigger. And I made sure every one of my trigger pulls were good. My my breathing was good, sun alignment, whole 9 yards. I was as stable as I can possibly get and didn't rush my shots. And this is what I got. So, as of right now, this is going back to BCM. Thank you for watching. If you had any issues with BCM before and been through their warranty process, let me know how your experience has been, because I am curious. I always hear online that they've had really good experiences with BCM. However, I've never met anybody personally that's had to go through their customer service department or their warranty services. So this is new territory for me, and I will be reporting back once I hear from them. And I will catch you in the next video. Let me get the hell out of here before I talk some more.